I loved being able to have the opportunity to be an interpreter, and the fact that they gave me that opportunity because of my skill sets and my ability to communicate with others and to be able to express the desire for knowledge to be given to others and come out to this park and actually experience that. That's what I love. Hi, my name is Arian Velazquez Ornelas. I am the park interpreter for the Big Bend Ranch State Park. I am stationed out at the Fort Leaton State Historic Site. So I am partially in charge of 315 plus acres of resources at the Big Bend Ranch State Park. And I'm also at Fort Leaton, which is a historic site from the 1800s. 1848 was a trading post along the Chihuahuan Trail. And so I help tell stories and tell the history, the archaeology. Part of what we've talked about with our archaeologist Tim Gibbs is all the resources that are out here. And so we get to talk about the flora, the fauna, and all the great animals like this little guy right here. Yeah, so getting started to be able to work at Big Bend Ranch State Park, I first started off as an office manager. I was office manager for about 6 years at the Fort Leaton State Historic Site. A little bit different from what I'm doing now. I love to manage. It was part of my past experiences. But what I really was looking for was to get out here, to get out into nature, to get out and be able to provide programming for people to be able to come out and enjoy the park and, you know, not be stuck on the computer. And I know after about 6 years, I was like, yeah, it's time for a change. And so my career path turned to interpretation and getting to learn all that and getting to learn the surroundings from my colleagues and other interpreters was part of my journey. And so, yeah, getting trained with TPWD to be able to do my job formally and now as an interpreter. Yeah, so in order to be an interpreter, TPWD does require formal education as far as an associate's degree in any field of work, whether it's biology, geology, any of the ologies, right? Unfortunately, I do not have that pedigree. I did get to give my experience being here for 6 years, utilizing the resources that were provided to me by TPWD and working with colleagues, getting to know what actually is here and how to be able to educate the community by using those resources that were allotted to me. Yeah, what my day looks like. I'm a very organized person. I have calendars everywhere. You know, you'll come into my office and I have a week-long calendar, a 4-month calendar, and then a month calendar on my desk. And that to me is important because of how far away we are in this whole area of the Big Bend Ranch. You know, I have to have good organizational skills, being able to, you know, take down notes whenever we're trying to prepare for a program. So a lot of research. You know, being able to have dialogue with the community when they come in and you're doing these programs, for me is important to be able to understand what we're teaching and have that ability to just have a conversation with somebody, especially because we have no cell service out here. It's completely isolated. Now, you know, what maybe 5 years ago, we didn't have Starlink. So even that, you know, out here was complete remoteness. If you had an inReach, you know, that was a good deal. And now it's like, okay, we have to make sure that everybody understands that you might not have some type of connection to the outside world. So what are your contingency plans? The amount of vastness and diversity out here is what I think people would be surprised to know, is when you're seeing these lowlands that actually have water and yet you're in the desert. You know, and how does life continue out here and thrive? When back in, you know, when Spaniards first came out here, it was el despoblado. And for us, it's never been that way. It's always been an inhabited area. Presidio is known as the most continuously cultivated land in North America for a reason. That water, that river, these creeks all give life to this area. One of my first interpretive programmings that I did. So I was speaking earlier on the 100-year anniversary of Texas Parks and Wildlife. We did airstrip astronomy. And so we were out there at the airstrip, which is one of our darkest spots in the park. And, you know, for me, it was very nerve-wracking. I knew I was talking to professionals. I was talking to, astronomers that were maybe still not professionals, but to them, they know it all, and I feared just coming out, this person is just reading and so that was, to me, very memorable because I was able to get through it. I got my colleagues to support me, and then I was able to walk around with all of these amazing visitors and volunteers, and just the crowd that we had was pretty cool. Challenges in my job. There are quite a few, the distance out here, if you're not used to driving 27 miles, that'll take you an hour and a half, can be challenging. Learning is your classroom. So, being out in the park is my classroom. And so I love that I have that opportunity, that I was given that opportunity, being from Presidio, being local. So it is important if you can get your education in any type of field that will help you gain that foot in the door, whether it's marine biology, which is what I wanted to do. I wanted to study marine biology, and then my family brought me back out to the desert, and it's like, where's the water? So, being able to say I can study the rock formations where there's used to be an ocean, connecting that to my passion was a way for me to say, okay, let's connect that, right? But yeah, education is a big deal.